Hello everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. You might recognize this scene. I've done a few videos here before. I'm down in my little Airbnb in Pensacola. Had a great time at Earth Day yesterday. Just met a lot of really cool people. Had some good conversations. Met the Anonymous for the Voiceless group. I met the group that is advertising and putting on the Veg Fest in Pensacola, Florida. If anybody doesn't know about that, there will be a vegan festival on May 12th here in Pensacola. So I'll be back for that, and I'll probably be back in this very same little room right here. This video today, sharing raw vegan lifestyle realistically. What am I talking about there? That kind of came out of some thoughts yesterday. Anyhow, I do videos every day, so if you haven't already done it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And then click on the little bell and check send notifications, because YouTube unsubscribes people from channels. I find that all the time for channels that I'm subscribed to. I was talking to a number of people yesterday, and I got to thinking about something, and I've thought about this before, just never have done a video on it. When people start asking me about this lifestyle, or when people overhear me, because I heard I had conversations yesterday, and different conversations sparked people overhearing what I was talking about and the kind of the gist of the conversation. And one guy stepped in and joined the conversation, started asking me some questions, and started expressing some interest in something. In fact, there's this one place, you may have heard me talk about it, it's the little store where I go to get my supplies here in Pensacola, Everman. They had a representative there, and I guess because I've tagged them in photos and some, he knew who I was. He said, "Oh, I've seen you in the store, and I know you have a channel and this and that." And he was trying to encourage me to come do a demonstration, like a food demonstration or a talk or something like that. And I was just kind of like, well, I'm like, I'm kind of like Oz, the man behind the curtain. Once you pull back the curtain, there's just kind of this little skinny old man behind there. I told him, I said, I'll relate this to why I'm talking about this. I said, well, I don't know if people would, I kind of could see me being up in front of people and people going, yeah, big deal. Because mine is so simple. I was like, will it be even relatable? I told him that. I said, not too many people eat like I do. I said, I'm not just vegan. I said, and I kind of get into the raw thing, and the whole thing being is like, I don't know, I've just got a few simple tricks. I'm not sure I could capture people's attention long enough for a full-on class or come across as prepared enough to do that. So I got to thinking, and this guy stepped in and he said, "Oh yes, I'd be very interested in that." And he was a larger fellow. He had weight to lose, and that's what he was doing it for. He was doing it for his health. He was probably a gentleman. I'm going to guess this guy, he was maybe a little bit older than me, could have been 10 years older than me, say mid-50s to mid-60s. And he, I guess, I don't know, didn't talk to him long enough to get his story, but no, he was doing this for his health. Well, he's familiar with the plant-based aspect of it now, but he was interested in the raw. And I kind of got to realizing that I was almost like my approach. When I'm not doing this channel, when I'm not doing a video, when I'm not on Instagram and whatever, I don't talk about raw very much at all. When I'm out and about, and I'll tell you why I do this, I talk about a plant-based diet. I talk about vegan. I mention that I'm vegan, or I'll mention that I'm plant-based. I try to size up the person that I'm talking to, because I think that's where it lies. And I see this a lot of times with other people sharing their message, whether it's through a medium like this, or whether it's just, sharing in the day-to-day in groups and talking to people. And I think sometimes people get a little caught up in their thing. It's about me, and that's ego. To be like, no, I got to beat people overhead with this raw message. It's about the raw. The raw is the best version of this. The raw is the only way to go. And that's just such a heavy message. And it's so extreme to most people. This world, come on, most people, you see the way most people eat. Now that I've been back in the States, especially, I'm aware of it as I go to the grocery stores. You know, if you see where people are right now, just getting them to plant-based. I don't care if it's junk food plant-based. I don't care if it's I don't care if they're eating one fresh vegetable, even if it's just eating, you know, all these frozen things and the fake cheeses and the meats and the seitan and this and that. It's still a step forward, and it's plant-based, and it's moving them in a certain direction. It's a very select few. It's a very small percentage that you're ever going to talk to, and they're just going to, wow, you know, like the light's going to, you know, that aha, and they're going to go from where they are to a raw food diet. So I prefer when I'm out and about, I'm talking about plant-based, I'm talking about plant-based, I'm talking about vegan. When they sound a little bit more like they're, you know, maybe they understand it, they've read about it, heard about it, have studied it, looked into it themselves, and when they seem to be a little bit more receptive and know a little bit more, like this gentleman yesterday, for instance, you know, I was talking about this and that, and I actually, he was like, yeah, I wish I had more raw recipes and stuff. Who did I turn him on to? I turned him on to Melissa, of course. I wrote down my email address in case he wanted to contact me. And I said, well, you gotta get this book, The 30-Day Meal Plan. And I forget the exact name of it, The 30-Day something raw vegan plan. But I just put 30-Day Meal Plan, Melissa Ramundi, and I'm sure he'll find it. But you know, like I say, I felt the guy out. I asked him questions, but mostly I listened to him. Well, he was starting to go in right direction. He started mentioning doctors like Dr. Neil Bernard that he was familiar with, Dr. Furman. He had heard of Esselstyn. He had heard of T. Colin Campbell. So he was going in the right direction. So then I started talking to him about, well, you know, it's really, I said, you know, plant-based. I said, you're doing good. I said, the raw, I like the raw myself. I didn't try to push that on him. I said, it is great. I said, I feel absolutely wonderful. But then I tried to step into what I consider the more important aspects. Like, and I was telling him that. I said, you know, there's certain things like just eating clean plant-based. I said, or how about the oils? How do you feel about the oils? And he didn't do oils either. So he was getting there. What I'm getting at is the way I share is kind of the same progression that I believe in, that I see most people doing this lifestyle. That most people, listen, I'm practical. I'm not about what is possible. I'm trying with this channel, with my brand, with Instagram, with all the sharing I'm trying to do. I'm trying to reach the most amount of people that are interested in a plant-based lifestyle, and just getting a massive amount of people moving forward instead of having this small select group that I, you know, get to this fully raw vegan place. It's just about, you know, helping people wherever they are, helping them, move them along, getting them a little healthier, not trying to preach to people and, you know, like, once you've come in, it's like I'm just bugging you about, well, you need to be raw, you need to be raw, you need to be raw. Most people aren't ready to be raw in the very beginning. And it's almost like a recruiting type thing. And that's the way I think about it. And that's how this one's going to be kind of short today, and I'll finish up there. It's like, let's just get them in. Let's get them in. If we can get them in and start working on their minds a little bit, let's get them to plant-based. Let's don't care, you know, the first step is plant-based, getting people to plant-based, getting people interested in plant-based. And also, I could say this is, I believe, the most effective way that a lot of people are going to actually do this lifestyle. You start with plant-based. Once again, like I say, it doesn't matter what you're doing with the plant-based, just to start. Remember my video from the other day, always moving forward, little by little, but never going backwards. So you get them to plant-based. Once that's a major mind shift right there. It doesn't matter what they are eating plant-based when they first come to the lifestyle, because that is such a major shift, just changing to that. Okay, once you get them in the door, now you got them kind of in there. Now you've got them to where they're plant-based. So now they're actually a little bit more receptive to even listening to your message in general, or just how you do things or what you've got to share. So once you've got them in plant-based, then you can start chipping away a little bit and kind of sharing the healthier details of a plant-based diet. You know, don't be afraid of those carbs. Try to ditch that processed food. Let's make our plant-based diet about, You know, whole plant-based foods, fruits and vegetables, and less of the packaged stuff and less of the fake meats and cheeses and this and that. Start getting them cleaner, more fresh food. Then we can get them into, well, these, you know, let's cut out the oils. The oils are really nothing but 100% fat. And then we progress them, and then we progress and get more and more raw food in, more and more raw food. You know, they're going and they're going. But that to me is more practical. No, not that many people are going to go from the sad to raw vegan. I say that all the time, and that's what I'm about. I'm about realism and practicality here. So that's just, I don't know, like I say, in my day-to-day. And sometimes too, that's all also, this is really, when you're sharing this message, and I'll say this real carefully because people, reading comprehension and listening comprehension have taken a dive in the last 20 years. It's like selling. Everything, veganism is like marketing. Now let me make it clear here. I'm not talking about you're trying to actually sell somebody a product, but when you're trying to convince somebody of something, it's the same strategy as marketing sales. You're still selling an idea. And you know, I've found it's like when you're kind of a little bit more nonchalant, you don't jump on them like, yeah, you know, blah, blah, blah. In fact, I had people talking to me yesterday that I was just kind of matter of fact. Oh, you do this? Oh, you got this thing? Yeah. I mean, yeah, I eat these raw foods. They're pretty good for you and stuff. And you kind of, you know, you draw them in. You give them a little mystery to the lifestyle. You don't act all anxious and stuff. It's kind of like, you know, I don't know, what's the analogy? When you're trying too hard with a person, you know, and they just that you get kind of put off by that. But anyhow, that's how I'm going to keep sharing my message, and, you know, just trying to help people where they're at and not trying to push them to where I think they need to be. But anyhow, this is just kind of a rambling video today, and we're starting off the week with a rambling video. But if you got something out of this one, if you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Yeah, I guess it's back to Alabama. I sure do like it down here in Pensacola. See you guys. Peace.